back to my channel. Today's video is all about my top favorite young adult series. I've been putting this video off for so long because I keep telling myself I want to read more young adult series so that maybe I can add to my list. But the more young adult series I do read, I realize that these are really the handful of young adult series that I love, and I don't think they're ever not going to be my favorite. So I decided to go ahead and film this video because I really want to share with you my top YA series of all time. This list is really in no particular order. I love all of these series so much. It's so hard to choose from. These series are just amazing. Okay, so the first series I have to share with you is the Leviathan series by Scott Westerfeld. I love this series so much, and it consists of book 1, Leviathan, book 2, Behemoth, and book 3, Goliath. I love these books so much. This is like a steampunk historical fiction. It's like based off of World War I. The characters are amazing, and what I love is that there are illustrations in these books, like really fantastic illustrations that just really adds just so much more to the story. This story is so interesting and unique. Basically, we follow two main characters. We follow Darren, who is a young girl pretending to be a boy so that she can join the, I believe it's the British Air Force, and then, yeah, the British Air Service. And we have Alec, who is Austrian, and he is a prince, and he is running away from, like, he has to run away from his country, pretty much. He's on the run. And these two, they end up crossing paths, and they end up kind of just becoming best friends, and it is so good, so good. I need to reread this series. I haven't read it in so long, and it is just, it's amazing. I think I gave all of these books maybe a 5 out of 5 stars, or just very close to it, but fantastic. The next series I have is the Unbecoming of Mara Dyer trilogy by Michelle Hodkin. I absolutely love this series so much. The first one is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. The second book is The Evolution of Mara Dyer, and the third book is The Retribution of Mara Dyer. I would say it's kind of like a psychological thriller. It's so good. The third one is my least favorite. The plot kind of gets a little strange in The Retribution of Mara Dyer, but these two, phenomenal. We follow a young girl named Mara, and she basically wakes up in the hospital one day with no memory of what happened in like a tragic incident that killed her best friend and her boyfriend, and her family moved to, I believe, California to try and like heal her for like her PTSD, but it doesn't work. It doesn't matter how far away they get. Mara is still suffering from severe PTSD, and what's so great about this book or this series is that it is in first person point of view. So we're in Mara's head the entire time, and we're just like, what we see, what she sees is what we see, and she's just such a completely unreliable narrator that we're just like, okay, wait, we're going crazy with her. Like, we're going through the PTSD with her, and it's just, nothing is clear, but it is so good. I highly recommend this series. Next, I have Across the Universe trilogy by Beth Revis, and it consists of book 1, Across the Universe, book 2, A Million Suns, and book 3 is Shades of Earth. This series, once again, it is just, these series are so good. So in this series, we have 2 points of views. We have Amie and Elder, and in this series, Amie is from Show's Magic One. Okay, every time I'm saying series, my phone thinks I'm saying Siri, and it's trying to look up what I'm saying. Stop it. Okay, that's really funny. So we follow the perspective of Amie and Elder. Amie is, I believe, like 17 years old, and she's kind of like from present day, and she gets cryogenically frozen with her parents and placed on a spaceship called Godspeed to, is it 350 years? I forget how many years they're supposed to go, like they're gonna be frozen to go to a new planet to like colonize this new planet called Century Earth. 300 years in the future, sorry. But Amie gets unfrozen 50 years too soon. Things just go really, really nuts. Now, Elder was born on Godspeed, so he is one of the passengers of like the 300 years that are, you know, like traveling, and he's born on Godspeed, and he is training to be the captain of the spaceship. And Amie and Elder end up teaming up when a whole bunch of like murders start happening. You're like into like this type of like science fiction, space type novels, like you're gonna love this series, and I highly, highly recommend it. The next series I have is the Twilight Saga by Stephanie Meyer, and this consists of Book 1, Twilight, Book 2, New Moon, Book 3, Eclipse, and Book 4, Breaking Dawn. Now, this is probably one of the first young adult series that I've ever read, and this is really the series that got me into young adult. Like, I love Twilight. I know it gets a lot of mixed reviews, like people either love it or they hate it, but I'm just one of those people that love it because it really is that book that before I was reading young adult, I read a lot of more like children's book like Harry Potter, and I also read a lot of just adult books. I love it. I love this series so much. And if you don't know what Twilight is about, well, basically we follow a young girl named Bella, and she moves to Forks to live with her dad, and she ends up meeting this mysterious boy named Edward who happens to be a vampire, and they fall in love. And we have an amazing 4-book series about their love, and it's amazing. I love it. I love this series so much. Yes, it's problematic, but I don't care. I still love it. The next series I have is the Lunar Chronicle series by Marissa Meyer. Hello. And it consists of Book 1, Cinder, Book 2, Scarlet, Book 3, Cress, and Book 4 is Winter. Now, this series, first of all, covers spot on. These books are fairy tale retellings. So Cinder obviously follows like Cinderella, and what is so cool is that this is like science fiction fairy tale retelling. So Cinder is actually a cyborg, and there are like basically Earth and is kind of at war with another planet called Luna. It's really, really cool, and I absolutely love it. And we have a prince involved, and just a whole bunch of really fun characters that you just end up really loving. Scarlet is about Little Red Riding Hood. Cress is about, Winter we follow like Snow White, the retelling of Snow White, and Cress we follow the retelling of Rapunzel. To be quite honest, Cinder, I had a little bit of trouble getting through. Like, I feel like Cinder is probably the weakest one in the series. My favorite was probably Scarlet, then Winter, then Cress, then Cinder. The next series I have is, let's see if I can do this without them falling, the Throne of Glass series by Sara J. Maas. I love this series. I think I have to say this is my number one in this video. I think so. As you can see, there are a decent amount of books in this series. We already have 6, and there's still another book coming out. We have Book 1, Throne of Glass, Book 2, Crown of Midnight, Book 3, Heir of Fire, Book 4, Queen of Shadows, which is actually my favorite in this series. Book 5 is Empire of Storms, and Book 6, which was released this year, is Tower of Dawn. And as I said, we still have the 7th and final book is coming out next year, something like that, I believe. So in this series, we follow our main protagonist, Selena, and she is a famous assassin, and there's just so much that happens in this series. I don't know how to summarize it. Okay, so I guess starting with just Throne of Glass, because I don't want to spoil anything. Selena is currently in a jail camp, the salt mines of Indovir, and she was sent there to pretty much die because she was caught for being an assassin. And she gets released from the camp by Prince Dorian. Takes her out of this camp because he wants to put her in a competition that the king is holding, which consists of other killers and thieves, and she's put into this competition, and the winner gets to be the personal assassin to the king, and that's kind of where the story starts and ends up taking off. There is magic. The world building is phenomenal. At the end of Book 2, though, the series just takes off. It's so good. Did I mention there's magic and that there's assassins? The next series I have is A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy by Sara J. Maas. It was kind of borderline young adult versus new adult. This is her more, I would say, violent, sexual, more graphic series. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it is phenomenal. Book 1 is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Book 2 is A Court of Mist and Fury. It is my favorite of both of her series. And then book 3 is A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is so good. We follow our main character, Feyre. She lives in the woods. Her and her family are very poor, and one day she's hunting. She ends up killing a wolf who ends up being a fairy. Now, soon after this happens, Tamlin, who is the High Fae of the Spring Court, comes to take Feyre back to his land for like punishment for killing a fae. And what is so great about this world is that I love the politics and the different courts of the fae. I will also say that I think book 1 is the weakest in the series, and then book 2 just takes off. This series is so good, and I really do think even if you were, you liked book 1, but it wasn't your favorite, I think you should really push through and read book 2. I love this series so much. The next series I have, I only own 2 of the books, and that is the Vampire Academy series by Rochelle Mead. This series is so good, so good. If you like vampires, if you like kick-ass characters, then I highly recommend picking up this series. Okay, so we have book 1 is Vampire Academy, book 2 Frostbite, book 3 is Shadow Kiss, book 4 Blood Promise, book 5 is Spirit Bound, which is this one right here, and then book 6 is Last Sacrifice, which is this one right here. I don't know why I'm missing the dust jacket, and I don't know why this one's in paperback. No idea. I really need to unhaul these 2 books and just actually get like the series with the like new covers, because come on, these covers, they don't get better. Like this, it's pretty bad. In this book, we follow our main character, Rose Hathaway, and she is just so badass. I really love her. She and her best friend, Lissa, they live in the Vampire Academy to learn their magic and how to protect. So we have 3 different types of vampires in this series. We have the Dampier, who are, I believe, half human, half vampire. Then we have the Moroi, who are the like true like good vampires, and then we have the Strigoi, and those are the bad vampires, the ones that need blood to survive, can't come out at night, and are like really evil. Rose is a Dampier and Lissa is like her Moroi, and they have this like special connection and bond. And then we have like really hot Russian trainer named Dmitri, and oh, it's so good, it's so good. I really recommend this series. Okay, so the next series I have is the Illuminae Files by Amie Kaufman and Kristoff. So this is one of the series that is not completed. There's only been 2 out. The first one is Illuminae and the second one is Gemina. I really loved the series. I gave both books, I think, a 5 out of 5 stars. So I know the next book is going to be fantastic. But what is so cool about this series is that it is just written in like the coolest format. It is written in like files, diary entries, emails, schematics. It's really cool format, and I love it. This is young adult science fiction. It is set in like outer space, which I love. So in this story, we follow our 2 main characters, Caddy and Ezra, and one morning they wake up and their planet gets attacked, and they are able to flee on another ship that comes to rescue them, like a spaceship that rescues them, and they have to try and figure out like why their planet was attacked and who attacked their planet as well. They're running for their lives because the spaceship that they are on ends up being hunted by the people who destroyed their planet. I do have 2 book reviews on these, so I'll link them down below. If I have any book reviews on any of the books that I mentioned, I will definitely link them down below. Alright guys, well that is it for this video. Please comment down below, let me know some of your favorite young adult series, and I will see you next time in another video. Bye!